made this drawing of a cup twice in order to show you how these two methods are different, and I used a 2H pencil to start with. So that's just a simple contour drawing of the cup. I'm going to cross hatch the left cup, and I'm starting with a contour line around the rim. I'm not going to put contour lines everywhere, so I'm being really selective of where to put these. And then at first this starts to look a lot like hatching, but then cross hatching is the method where you add a second layer of lines on top to make it darker. Along the side of the cup, I'm starting out with some dotted lines, which will appear lighter than solid lines, in order to slowly get to a place where the cup gets darker and darker. And then I've decided that it needs to go even darker all the way on the right side of the cup, so I'm adding another layer of lines in a different direction. Now with cross-hatching, these lines are straight, they don't curve along with the form of the cup. So this method is a little bit easier because I don't have to worry about that extra challenge of finding those curves of the form. And now I'm adding a third layer, so I've decided that needs to be even darker as it gets closer to the edge. For the surface of the table, my lines are horizontal. Since the table is horizontal, the lines are still straight and solid, but I've changed direction. And now I'm adding a second layer of diagonal lines in order to make that value a little bit darker as it gets closer to the cup. The handle is going to be pretty complex. Here, I'm looking for the different values, so I really have to observe that handle carefully to figure out exactly where to add multiple layers of lines and where to leave one layer of hatched lines. Between the cup and the table, I saw a very small gap, so I decided to add a line there, since it does feel like a kind of a strong visual line. And now I'm erasing the pencil, and I'm not going to add contour lines everywhere, I'm just being selective. So I've left a lot of those edges blank without putting contours in. Even though it seems like part of it is missing, the form is still visible, and it's actually more convincing not to have a line there. If you add contour lines on every single edge, it might start to look kind of cartoonish, which in some cases might be what you're looking for. But for this drawing, we're trying to create a representational drawing with this new method, and so the best way to approach this is to find areas where there's a contrast in values, meaning that the edge has a lighter value on one side of it and a much darker value on the other side, and then add contour lines just in those areas. Cross-contour cross-hatching is very similar to cross-hatching. The only difference is that the layers of lines follow the curve of the form. So this is similar to what we did when we drew that striped sheet in the cross-contour drawing, but since it's cross-contour cross-hatching, we're adding layers of lines that crisscross each other, and every single one of those lines follows the curve of the form. In some cases, the form might actually be flat, like this cup is flat when I move vertically, so I'm leaving those lines straight since there's no curve in the vertical direction. But when I move across the cup horizontally, those lines start to appear curved. The cross-contour method is most obvious on the handle, where I really wrap those lines around. So the lines that are horizontal on the handle are going to curve underneath and look like they're disappearing and wrapping around. The cast shadow from the cup on the table is going to look identical in these two drawings because the table is a flat surface. It doesn't have any curves. Since I don't need to curve the lines at all, the two cups are going to look the same. So here I've created the same drawing twice. One is cross-hatching, the other one's cross-contour cross-hatching. And they're pretty similar overall. Cross contour cross hatching has a little bit more of a three-dimensional look, that illusion, because those lines are curved. Both of them achieve a sense of those gradations throughout the cup.